welcome to Unfiltered with Mike DeZonia on WILI 1400 AM, 95.3 FM. We're here in the studio today. We have our co-host, Curtis Ehler, and we have two special guests. We have Sara, Beth back with us. And we have our next, hopefully, state rep, Brian Saucier.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
So this will be a really interesting show. Let's hope we're open for call-ins. We want all the tough questions. It's 860-456-1400. So our phones do not get shut off. We take the questions. We want to hear what everybody out there wants to talk about. So we're going to start off. We just had a big celebration in town. Unfortunately, due to the health, I could not. It was hot. I wasn't feeling well, and I did not make the parade. My family all went down. They said it was great. It's amazing. You see everybody in town get together for events like this. Anybody, you guys all went to the parade. What did you think of the parade, Curtis?
Well, I was shocked at how many participants there were. Like you were talking about health, right? I mean, this was one of the hottest 4th of Julys we've ever had for a boombox parade. But then on top of that, it was on the tail end of a 4 or 5 day heat wave.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
To see some of the familiar faces, then we're all getting older.
Yeah.
Every second we're getting older. To see some of the old familiar faces out there, seeing Wayne Norman still heralding the parade there, running it from the front. Jean Dismay with her crowd with the "This land is your land, this land is our land" banner and all that sort of stuff. It was really a sight to see that the lineup was as big or bigger as I've seen in recent times for the parade this year, which is great. And bless all of the people that lined up and were watching and enjoying the parade this year. It seems like there's less and less shady spots. They keep cutting down trees on the town hall lawn. That used to be our spot when we were kids. We would sit on the steps there underneath the shade trees. But we had quite a crowd. Some brave Willimantic and Windham residents that were sweltering in the heat to wave and cheer, and it was a great time. It was a great time. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So moving on, we've got a really busy week coming up. Moving on from last week, we had the town council meetings. Where I had brought up. I thought there was a little issue with the charter. I was definitely outvoted on that one.
We got the word around for you, Mike. We heard you talked about on your last show exactly how you felt about it.
Yeah.
We didn't want you to quit politics, Mike. So we got the Board of Finance together and we said, listen, if we want Mike to keep doing this, and God bless him for doing it,
right?
We gotta give this guy some consideration here.
So the Board of Finance postponed it, but I do see tomorrow at the town meeting it's still on the agenda.
Yes, it is.
So I guess the town council just they go to their own.
Wear you down.
Yeah,
And we'll see what happens tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about the Willimantic Fire and Police Complex. That's the official name of the building. Just like everything in town, we give it new names and new spin whenever it serves us. Right now, the latest is to call it the Windham Public Safety Complex.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you look at the history and the property title, the Willimantic Fire and Police Complex. That's the project that we're talking about right now. It's a roughly $2.3 million project for various renovations, some essential, some interesting, and the real hot topic is that the cost of the Willimantic Fire and Police Complex project, the bonding, is to be borne by the entire town, which, Mike, you found interesting and you voiced at the last town council meeting.
Right, because, if anybody and the public can look at this is all public information. Section 9-2 of our charter specifically states that it's to be paid for by Willimantic Taxing District and not, go outside. And there's no other way around it. There's no in the case of this or in the case of that. It is black and white with a period at the end of the sentence. Done deal. We've talked to several people and gotten legal opinions on it, and they said, well, that's kind of what it says. You got to change the charter. Well, that's not what the town council wants to do. The town council wants to go. And when I brought it up, I at least thought that somebody on the Democrat side would say, hey, let's look at this. Can we get a legal opinion or at least have a conversation? They acted like I just was not in the room and just call the vote and just vote.
And let's talk about why it's important to get a legal opinion and I don't know what we're doing before we borrow money and we encumber the whole town. Taxpayers in Windham and Willimantic, what we pay for is described in our town charter. And like Mike said, Chapter 9, Section 2 of our town charter is pretty clear about the division of properties that are in the possession of the taxing districts, like Willimantic and the Windham First Taxing District, and the town. If we do something against charter, we have a number of taxpayers in the town of Windham. We have, it changes all the time, of course, but I'm going to say roughly 1,700 tax accounts. If we asked the revenue office, should I have called them and asked before the show? Probably, but I didn't. Let's say 1,700 tax accounts now with our revenue office. Every one of them that's not a Willimantic taxpayer has potential standing. And we don't want to see them go civil. We don't want to see them go legal by saying, hey,
right,
you're encumbering me with costs that our town charter does not allow. So we see that with a lot of boards here. Some of our town boards and commissions spend a lot of time making sure that all their I's are dotted and all their T's are crossed and making sure that we're not opening the town up to any kind of legal exposure, which is really important. Like we talked about last week, on planning and zoning, we'll spend weeks or months doing research and gathering professional opinions just to make sure that we're not offending one neighbor or one abutter of a property that wants to do a change. But here we are with 1,700 tax accounts in the town of Windham,
right?
And we're just
willy-nilly
spitballing it.
Yeah.
We've been asking for legal opinions all along for what feels like months now, and and here we are.
Is that the only enforcement mechanism? Should a town choose to ignore the charter, is for the town taxpayers to then sue the town?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but that I would say would be the most direct case. I mean, you see that we once had a really vibrant taxpayers association here in town, and that's a common civic group in many towns throughout Connecticut because it's the easiest way to show standing, and
right.
the civil court seems to be the easiest way to rectify the situation. It just seems like we could be walking into a real serious unforced error. And if you look at the legal track record of the town of Windham, our wins and our losses, I'd say that we might not want to roll the dice on this one.
Right.
I agree.
And the other thing, I'm not saying that everything in the project is a bad idea.
No.
But the other thing that Councilman Edelman has been bringing up.
Oh, Steve's been fired up.
Is the fact that he's gone in and asked to look at the estimates, to look at the bids. Where did we arrive at this money?
Mm-hmm.
And there haven't been any.
Right.
So where did we arrive at this money? Did somebody in finance come up with it? Did a fireman come up with it? Did a police officer come up with it?
Well,
did a janitor?
Mike, you're lucky because I actually brought. I'm not sure if the people on YouTube can see it. I actually brought my crystal ball with me.
Yes.
To this radio show. So I'm looking into it now, and I see a staff member talking to a friend I'm seeing their face. That friend is a contractor.
Yeah.
That contractor is giving them the numbers. That contractor is going to write the RFP for the project so that they are the only contractor that can then submit a bid.
So we're following.
Where have we heard that before?
We're following suit with just the same as if you asked for the bids for the new boilers at Natchog. Same
Going to the same ones?
same sort of environment here.
Well, they even skipped the step of even pretending that they were going to put it out to bid on that one. Yeah, we went no bid on that, didn't we, Sarah Beth?
We need more bid. We need to really make sure that we have because don't we also go for the lowest?
Well, you can go for the lowest, but also you have to look at, your apples to apples.
Yeah, other variables.
And you want to see what you're getting,
Now, there's a real benefit to having an ongoing relationship with a mechanical contractor as a school. A lot of our heating systems are still steam, and guys that can do real large steam systems are few and far between. It's a dying art. It's mostly like relegated to like hospitals now. Hospitals are in love with steam, and hospitals have bank accounts with no bottoms. So
Right.
there is a benefit to playing ball with these guys. I'm not immune to understanding the benefit of keeping a good relationship with a mechanical contractor that has this kind of expertise. But we could at least give the appearance that we're playing fair. We could at least go through the motions here.
It's just it seems that a lot of the stuff has come out. I read the last report that came out on the air quality, and they did say there were particles in the air, but they didn't meet, or they weren't even close to where it started to be a concern.
They
I'm
made
glad
it
you're
seem
bringing
like
this
a
up, Mike.
concern.
That's one of the concerns at the Willamette Fire and Police Complex. One of the parts of the project is to replace some ductwork because there was a trend in the 70s and 80s to do this fold flat fiberglass insulation. So instead
Right.
of all that lovely tin ductwork that we're all used to, there was a real trend to go with this fiberglass stuff. It made sense at the time. You could ship it totally flat. It popped up like a cardboard box, and you threw it in the building. Easy peasy. Now, problem with fiberglass is that after a period of time it degrades, and it's starting to break down a little bit. If you catch that stuff in time and you line it, then you're all good. Now, according to that report, Mike, that you read, we are a little past the point of just being able to go
Right.
ahead and line it.
Yep.
And I'm not exactly sure what kind of product it is. I'm sure it's some sort of epoxy coating. We're past that point. But, Mike, thank you for saying on the air and on the record that there is a report and that we don't have an air quality problem in our building, because we're getting some alarmism from some
Right.
other elected officials that, again, opens us up to legal exposure.
Right.
I don't really love that we have elected officials on the record for all time, in transcripts, on video, and in minutes, saying that there's an air quality problem in a building, which there is not. I don't want the appearance of a problem that a member of the public or an employee or God knows who will be able to take to the town and again, once again, we're open up to legal exposure because of loose talking to try to gin up support for a project.
Sure, and that's a big issue. I mean, if they came to us and I'm only one vote on the town council, if they came to me and said, "Hey, this is the report. These guys are in trouble," that building would, in my opinion, immediately shut down, and we'd have to move people and do whatever you have to do. But this wasn't the case. This was a hey guys, wake up. You're not maintaining your buildings. You need to do this. Otherwise, you're going to have a serious issue.
Right.
And at that point, we've got to go. So I totally understand, the urgency of moving forward, getting the bids, getting the right guy in there, and getting the job done
But
properly.
don't use it as a weapon to make the taxpayers say, "Oh, we need to get this done now."
Absolutely.
Right. Don't misrepresent the issue. And I think this is a common occurrence. And that's bring this to with Brian, you in here. I know you're looking to be a representative, and these are the kind of things that personally I would like to see you addressing, and going after, along with school funding. Funding that, there's so many mandates, and I would like to see our Neckar's representative represent the people more than just around election time. It seems like every election cycle, our representatives come up with some whipped cream on the a little bit of sprinkles on our Sundays, and it just, is it coincidence, or is it the last 20 some odd years that we get these little breadcrumbs right around election time?
Well, the mailers certainly increase in an election year, and it has always aggravated me that those mailers are, I'm assuming anyway, are paid for as part of just normal operations for the office. That's essentially like, it might as well be campaign material, but
Yeah.
it's not
It's not
funded like that.
Right.
I'm expecting it's
I didn't
not.
know
Be-
that.
Just because it's just an update on what's been accomplished during a legislative session. So
Right.
Now-
of course you want to let all of your constituents know about that. It also happens to highlight all the free stuff I gave away using tax money. Then here's the things you should, it's implied that somehow this is all going to disappear if I'm not reelected, but
And it's
Right.
all of the highlights of the, look at this this wonderful, this large amount of one-time state supplemental aid I gave you. Ignore the fact that our recurring aid is actually going down on the net. But look, we
Right.
omit that from the mailer.
right.
Right.
Also
We
ignoring
only
the
talk
fact
about
that
the-
every single penny that comes back to the town of Wyndham that flows through Hartford came from Connecticut residents' pockets anyway. So it's a
Right.
giant, ridiculous shell game. But I just want a couple things to comment on about this whole, we're trying to paint this idea of an emergency at the town level, and whatever it is, whatever it happens to be, doesn't even matter the details. I almost can't blame the town officials for acting like that. But, that's certainly not an excuse. Everything that is done in Hartford that is of any consequence is passed through good old emergency certification, the e-cert process.
It's the new way.
So it has been like that since I started paying attention to it. I've mentioned every time I'm in this room that my initial spark to become involved in the political world was all the gun control push in 2013, and that was passed at the very end of the session on at midnight with an e-cert. It was an emergency, and there's people that'll claim that it's just it's a process artifact that we have to use this e-cert mechanism. It's like, no, you're painting this kind of starting point that everything that the state is dealing with is an emergency. Right. And we're throwing out the dictionary. If everything's an emergency, then nothing's an emergency. It has to have a definition of what is a true emergency and what isn't. Everything that was shoved down our throats during COVID, it was an emergency. It was an emergency. It was an emergency. So, the state keeps towns on a leash, like you talk about the education liabilities.
Right.
There is a huge portion of the State Department of Education that if it disappeared, nobody would know it was gone. There are the Higher Education Board of Regents or something. It's 13 people that are each getting multiple $100,000 a year salaries.
Oh, no kidding.
If all that's one of the primo examples of these positions in the higher ups in the state board of ed. If they disappeared overnight, almost none of the citizens of Connecticut would know that they were gone. They are doing
and
not
our college
Except the
graduates
up
would
in
probably
funding.
get a little smarter.
that too. So the education. That to me, Mike, is just one of the symptoms of a much huger problem regarding the State Department of Education, and it shoves stuff down into the towns. let the towns figure out how to deal with it. It's their problem. Maybe we'll throw you a few pennies and you better be grateful for it. We'll
Right.
make sure you're all fighting about it every year. The state has way, 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 way more involvement in education than it should have.
Oh, without a doubt. And you bring up, you said, funny, you said 2013. I believe 2013 was the last time that the cost sharing was adjusted from the state of Connecticut to the towns. So,
Has it been that long? You're talking about the education cost sharing.
Right.
Okay.
And so we are definitely, in a pickle here. We're in a town where we have a lot of issues going on, a lot of mandates that are state mandated, to us. There should be some cost sharing. We take in people from other towns. We provide services, a lot of services that the state says are needed, are necessary. They're mandated. You will do this, but the taxpayer sees no relief. So you can only go so far, and that's not only with the education system. One thing is we are a college town,
Right.
okay? Well, why are our state reps and our state senator not fighting for some kind of funding for? We talk about mutual aid because that's a big thing. Eastern doesn't even have a fire department. So why isn't the state kicking in for this safety complex? Why isn't it called the Willimantic Wyndham Eastern Connecticut State University Fire Complex or Safety Complex? They've got a police department that's almost bare bones right now. We both respond. Both police and fire constantly up there. So, there's something that's got to be done with that. I don't know what can be done.
It could be tracked first and then, figure it out from there.
Well, yeah, start tracking it. They've got to have numbers. You've got to have this stuff. And we talk about, I'm big on the zero budget thing. I think we should start off at zero. Well, with budgeting and with function, let's see what our functions are. What our daily, what's expected of these departments daily. Put it down, and then let's see what it's going to cost. We'll come into our break here on WILI 1400 AM, 95.3 FM. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Unfiltered with Mike DeZonia. We're back in studio on WILI 1400 AM, 95.3 AM, FM, 95.3 FM. And phone number is 860-456-1400. We're going to get right back on to what we were talking about when we went to break, and that was the cost sharing, the education in our town, and I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
So yeah, this has been a hot topic for many years. Just the naked injustice of the state and their wisdom and the Department of Education and whatever power it's been given by the legislature, the State Department of Ed, comes up with all sorts of wonderful new ideas and then shoves them down to the to the towns, and then says it's up to you to figure out how to do this, and maybe we'll give you money for it, but we'll make you beg.
Right.
And my take on that as a representative would be to kind of bring us back to our roots and our principles. Connecticut, being the Christian state that it was for 329 years, developed this idea. I think what we use the term here is like home rule or something. Is a technical term within our our constitutional and legal framework that the towns have a lot of autonomy, or they have as much autonomy as the state grants them. But in theory, it's supposed to be kind of like our federal model with the 10th Amendment, saying like everything that's not explicitly given to the federal government, it's entirely with the states or the people. And I think home rule is kind of like that concept, where there's certain things that are the state is definitely taking care of this, and everything else it's for the towns to figure out on their own. And this whole idea of just education mandates shoved into the towns grossly violates that. And again, what are the results? Like there's something uniquely odd about the public education system is that somehow the worse its results gets, the only solution is to pump more money into it. And
Right.
with the State Department of Ed controlling all sorts of things that it ought not to control from the top down, the towns do not have the ability to solve their own problems in a way that fits best for their own residents.
Right. And you brought up a lot of good points there. One thing, the home rule. Now, home rule has been used in this town when it supports the agenda that they,
Yep.
Right.
the
Just like the charter.
Absolutely.
the party wants it to support, just like the charter. But there's where I'm saying there's got to be some sort of meet in the middle. Let's figure this out. Type of a moment where we say, listen. I had this debate last week with another council member. Well, I live in this part of town, he said. I said, well, that's well and good, but are you going to do what's right because it's what's right, or are you going to do what benefits your own team, to benefit you? And that's where it's very tough as a local politician. Do you want to benefit at the end of the day your household? Of course you do, but you can't. You have to do what the law tells you. You have to do what's morally right and what's right for everyone, the whole, not just the few. And the cost sharing is definitely, it's out of control. I mean, it's the same with the every year we talk about they want to put a new school in, okay?
Right.
And they were going to put it in the Wyndhams. And one of the things that they had always said for years and years was how great the community schools were, the neighborhood schools. And I brought that up during the when they talked about the new school in the Wyndham, putting it in Wyndham. I said, what are you going to do about your neighborhood schools now? All the children that walk to school, you want parental involvement, okay? A lot of these families, because of their financial structure, they're not in a position to have a vehicle or whatever. They walk to the school to see their child in a play or, a teacher conference. I was told that we were going to rent or contract minivans and Ubers and things like this to get all these parents, okay? I knew that was a bunch of smoke. However, it was voted down, the school went away, and now we're talking about Natchog, a big investment into a building that could have some financial value to the town as as something else besides a school. And we have another school in Wyndham Center that was just shut down that has a brand new boiler and new stuff, new mechanicals.
Yeah, new wells, new oil tanks. There's been
There was
quite a bit of
something
money put
weird
into
about
those
the
schools.
wells, I thought.
They're new.
They are
Yes,
new?
so they're new now. So now I had asked, well, why don't we just move the kids out there? Well, first we can't have the kids going out there because it'll destroy the neighborhood schools.
The people that want to get rid of
The people that wanted to get rid of and put a new school anyway.
In the same area, too.
Right, in the same area. I mean, on the same road within, a quarter mile of it, So what happened to that rule? Now we come up with all this other stuff. Well, that was the most expensive building to run as a school. And I said, oh, okay, well, if that was the most expensive building to run and we just shut it down, where was our savings to the school? Because now we should have all this savings.
And staff.
And this your staffing, all this. I mean, we saved all this money. Where is that money? Where does that chunk go? Because that should have been put towards the new school budget. Well, we really didn't save anything because we moved people around and So
Right, when's the
Basi-
last time a decision was made that actually saved money in this realm? Ever?
I don't think that, and that's the thing is, they look at you like you have three heads when you ask, well, did we save money? No, no, we didn't. We didn't save money. So we've really got to take some really good looks at this stuff, and pay attention and stop pulling on the heartstrings of the people. I mean, at the Board of Finance meeting the other night, great example, and I'm going to quote his name because he said it, and it's recorded. Kevin Donahue is the chairman of the Finance Committee. He said, on the record, Lynn Ide, the chair of the Board of Education, has now said the state says it's okay to use the children in the schools to promote the budgets and get budgets out there to advertise. So that is why they are going to move this budget out into July. It's not because July everybody's on vacation. We're in a poverty-stricken town. How many people do you think are going on vacation? There might be some people on Bolivia Street and up on the other end of Pleasant, that are going to their beach houses, but the general public is not going. And then, even if they do go on vacation, if they're smart enough to go on vacation and, get the tickets and everything to get out of there, why aren't they absentee voting? They could put an absentee vote. We've got no excuse absentee voting now. We have another elected official today on Facebook, Jared Leitzel, taxing district, said there's no absentee voting for a referendum. 100% wrong. I don't know if
he's wrong.
If he misunderstood that, or if he is just pushing the team agenda forward, because he seems to be a cheerleader for that team. But let's get some reality out there. People are wrong. I was told by one of the registrars the other day. I made a suggestion a few months ago about moving a voting location to another part of town, and the Democrats all voted down, but now they're trying to push it again, and they're saying, well, the chair of the Republican Party, Mike DeZonia, said, okay, well, one of the registrars said, yes, he did say this, but he's also an idiot. I don't like being called an idiot, but I did not read the statute, so I will admit it. I guess I'm an idiot. I didn't read the statute, just like the other guys didn't, and so that's why we can't move the voting locations just at will. But
what did the town? I'm very curious about this notion of using children as props.
Me too.
To achieve a budget campaign agenda. What did the town do recently? I'm sorry, the state. You said that the state said that they're allowed to do something new.
I guess they changed the statute, so now you can send advertisements out to the voters through the children. So I don't know how specific it went, but this is what they said. You can send this out. You can send the ads home and things like this. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, it's Raj. Was it 30, 40 years ago when the casinos were first built? That money we got from them was supposed to go to the schools. Did it ever happen? Or
You're talking about what we call now the Pequot Mohegan Fund money, and it goes to everything but the schools in this town. You know how it is, Roger. Any time that the state gives us an opportunity to spend the money as a town in the most responsible way, we're of course going to do that, right? They wanted us to use it for education, so now we know Pequot Mohegan Fund goes towards balancing the general government budget.
Sure, yeah, and that's what it goes for. That was going to be the big slot revenue. We were going to get, and there again, it's just another promise. It was an election time thing. It went, everybody jumped up and down.
Long on promise, short on result.
Sure, and that's the way of Connecticut's been for a while.
I thought that in the legislation mandated that it be used for the schools.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Roger's absolutely right. At the inception of the Pequot Mohegan funds, their intention was to take in, like we were talking about, that slot machine revenue from the casinos, and then at the time, at the inception of the fund, it was distributed roughly equally to each town, and it was for education. As time went on, the purpose eroded to. Now that we're not celebrating and clapping each other on the back about how we fix education funding, we had some people in Hartford lobby to free up the restrictions on those funds. Then we had an effort to, instead of evenly distribute the funds, to distribute them based on need. That's why some towns get a whole lot of Pequot Mohegan funds. Wyndham is one of them, and some towns actually get nothing. Now the latest formula for the Pequot Mohegan funds, and this is in every budget bill for the last, let's say, 6-8 years. The formula for determining each town's need. It used to be a specific formula on how much non-taxable property you had, what was the economic distress of your residents, their income levels, etc. That was the formula. The new formula is whatever the legislators go into a back room and decide on, and then print in the table in the budget bill each year. That is the formula.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right. It's kind of, the state has this little meeting room area, kind of like we have Dunkin' Donuts on Friday. Well, that's what the state does in just a little bit bigger of a.
Well, we're allowed to walk into the Dunkin' Donuts and say hi to the
Right.
to the town fathers that are running our lives for us.
Right.
Over
So
there on West Main Street.
it would probably be a good thing. I want to remind people, and I'll do it again during the show. We have this town meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and it's not at the Bellingham Auditorium. It is at the Senior Center. It is not going to be a hybrid meeting, from what I'm told.
Right.
So you can't sign on to it on the computer. You
Right.
have to go in person.
That's
Right.
all town meetings,
Right. So,
unfortunately.
and I don't believe our regular council meeting after that is going to be.
Right, that's at the community center
Right.
as well.
So,
So that's not hybrid either.
So there again, disenfranchising the residents is my opinion on this. When there's a hot button ticket, let's have it at the senior center where there's no, hybrid. The people who can't make it, they can't see the meeting. They usually don't know until it's too late to get there.
They're confused about where it is.
Confused about where it is. And this is just all part of the design of how we run the town. I'm telling, and then on Friday, every Friday morning, they have a meeting, the town fathers, at the Dunkin' Donuts down by BJ's. So if you want to go in there and talk to them, that's not a authorized. That's off the books. That's where all the real decisions are made. I see one of the town fathers walking in now out in the studio.
I have a question. When they first talked about the Pequot money, was all of it supposed to go to the towns for schools, or was it a percentage the state would keep for itself?
Roger, come on now. You know better than that. Of course, from the inception, the state gets the first cut on any of the slot revenues, but some of it trickles down.
Dedicated to whatever they want, or when a state took its cut, was that for, let's say, university or something like that, or was it on whatever they?
Oh, Roger, I usually rely on you for all this historical information. That I can't say, but I have a funny feeling, Roger, that at the inception they had all the promises in the world that it was only going to be used for the most lofty goals and aims. Yeah, I'm sure it was free pacifiers for every baby. I'm sure it was free college education for every bright young mind. Yeah, we've heard this all before, haven't we, Roger?
Oh, God, yeah, going back to 1964 when Barry Goldwater ran for president.
Well, we're going to save that for a little bit later. I thank you for calling, Roger.
Yeah, thank you.
Call us up anytime, and it's always great hearing from you. You're a wealth of knowledge, history. The historical knowledge that you possess in your brain is unmatched. So we'll talk to you a little later.
Okie doke.
Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
What a guy. I mean, what a resource that our town has. This is someone that, really, I hope they get the recognition they deserve. All the years that Roger's been on the Zoning Board of Appeals, all the years that he's participated in the Republican Town Committee, Roger's just a wealth of knowledge. Things that get lost to time. Roger can talk about a time before the Willie Bowl, now the Harbor Freight store.
Right.
Before all that development was there. That was just blueberry fields, man.
Yes, I've heard that.
Awesome.
Like what a world, and what a pleasure it is to have somebody that really understands the history of our town and where we came from.
Sounds like he should be at Dunkin' Donuts on Friday morning.
He should
Right?
be at the Dunkin'
If
Donuts
anybody
on
has
Friday
earned
morning.
it, Roger has, absolutely.
So, but yeah, getting the people there, and hey, if the people show up and they want to go a certain direction, then that's where they go. Whether it's my idea is the right one or the wrong one, really at the end of the day, it's what does the majority of the town want?
Right.
What do the people want? What's the legal thing to do? What's in our charter? Because if you don't like a law, you don't break it. You change it.
Right.
You put in and you legislate to change it. And this is what I think, a lot of people miss. And a lot of our elected officials, we kind of do the we control type of thing, and that's not good.
Well, Mike is having lofty aims of getting everybody out to vote, no matter what their opinion is. I hope, Mike, that you don't get angry that I'm going to go ahead and advocate that everybody show up tomorrow, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Now, this is at the Senior Center to turn out the vote.
Yes.
And as far as the appropriation on the Willimantic Police and Fire Complex goes, I hope that the town votes no. Until
Agreed.
we've heard a legal opinion that enables time to do
agree.
so. Do we have another caller?
Yes, we have another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Start again.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, I live in the People's Republic of Mansfield, and I've called in on a number of occasions just because I enjoy listening to you debate the politics of Wyndham. I won't say Willimantic, I say Wyndham because that's what I think of you as. I live in the holler of Mansfield Center, and you guys entertain me so much. But something you had said earlier it made me snap.
Uh-oh.
And, well, not snap in a bad way, but snap in like a half bad, half good way. And you said something about Willimantic / Wyndham, whatever you want to call it, being a very poor town, and there's some people that might be on vacation or whatever. But when it's advertised that, especially to the people that are in the quote-unquote local jail, my husband used to be a CO and whatnot, you can go here, you can go there, la, la, la. Well, guess what? If you go to Wyndham, basically, everything's free.
Oh.
Right.
Because the God bless Bruce John, the soup kitchen will it's going to be a hole that will never be filled. But God bless for everyone contributing and doing so much to meet the needs of the people that need it. So basically,
right.
when you hear or something, and if you're one of those hustler people or whatever, I can go there and I can set you up. You got free housing, you get free electric. All you got to do is this and this and that, and then word spreads, through the jails. Like I said, he was a CO, and it's an easy place to take advantage of people whose kindness is all that they give. Everybody gives. Look at the boombox parade. Everybody gives. Everybody gives. The CSK truck just said, "Thanks, Bruce." That's all that needed to be said because he and his family and everyone else have done so much for the community. But they just give, and then so many people come and take advantage. It's no wonder that it was frowned upon and so on and so forth. But I love listening to you folks talk every week while I'm prepping dinner for my 96-year-old mother. And
wow.
Thank you so very much for everything that you do.
Well, thank you for taking care of that 96-year-old mother. Keep it up.
You're welcome.
you.
And plus, I don't ever want to hear anything about Mansfield politics because it makes me just want to stick my finger down my throat and gag. Oh, wait, I live here. I didn't say that. Nobody heard me. All right, have a great night.
You too.
All right,
thank
you too.
Goodbye.
So yeah, I have to say, we don't have much time on the show, but and I don't know, Bruce John did amazing things for this town. The caller mentioned the soup kitchen. Just he seemed to be involved in everything where he was always giving to the community. What a great loss for the community, and she's right. That hole will never be filled. The other thing that she's correct on, and she hit the nail on the head, is we are advertised as give everything, give it away, we'll do it for free. And it's not free, and
that's never ending. That's
right.
just to get a step up, not to
In giving things away, being charitable, being generous. We live in the most wealthy nation on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that nobody here starves. It's good that very few people here are homeless. These are all good things. But what we've lost in our past is the test of whether or not somebody should be receiving support and assistance and generosity.
Right.
Or is it just something that automatically they get by default because they showed up here and will never, ever, ever question anything? But we used to have this idea of if you're perfectly capable of supporting yourself and you just rather not, well, too bad. Get out there.
Right.
And you're not going to get all this stuff forever for free.
Right. There's got to be a limit. And because what's happening now is we are putting the people who have worked all their lives, who may have gotten sick, who have issues coming up, circumstances have changed with layoffs, with whatever, that are needing assistance. And you do still have that small amount of people, greater in this area, who take advantage of the system, and the system takes advantage of them in certain areas. But we got to let you go. We'll see you next week on Unfiltered with Mike DeZonia.